Welcome back to Roncalli Stadium. The Zionsville Eagles kicking off to the home team, Roncalli, this evening. It is Ben Jones, the senior, getting ready to do the honors for Zionsville to start tonight's contest. The deep back for Roncalli as Dean Staley kicks off. It is an excellent one. Staley will field, but he will do so in the end. And, of course, in high school football, as soon as the ball breaks the plane, that is a touchback, and Roncalli will start things off 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line. Jimmy Harrington is the starting quarterback for the Roncalli Rebels this season. Last year's starting quarterback, Mike Hyde, now a player at the University of Indianapolis. Harrington will also see double duty as a linebacker in this evening's contest for the Rebels. 1st and 10 for Roncalli. Once again, they'll start at the 20-yard line.
Of course, Greg, last year, Roncalli handed Zionsville one of their 2 regular season losses, 13-6.
And credit to Zionsville, they, along with Cincinnati Moeller, were one of only 2 teams who stayed within single digits of Roncalli last year. Roncalli upsetting Moeller at Cincinnati Moeller last year, 26-21. Zionsville losing to Roncalli up at Zionsville by a score of 13-6. Once again, Roncalli played Moeller this year, this time up here at Roncalli Stadium, but the results not quite as favorable for the Rebels, as Moeller was able to come into town 2 weeks ago and beat Roncalli by a score of 33-7. The traditional Roncalli I formation. Fullback is John Heiss. The tailback is Richie Nally. 1st and 10 for the Rebels. Double tight end set here. They'll hand off to Nally, and he slips in the backfield. That time a little pressure back there as well for Zionsville. It's a loss for 2 for Richie Nally, and 2nd and long coming up here for the Rebels. Taking a look at the starting lineups for Roncalli, some of the backs and receivers. Once again, John Heiss and Richie Nally are the tailbacks. Offensive line, including tight ends Ryan Mann, Chris Eckert, the double tight end set there. Harrington under center. 2nd down and 12 coming up here for the Rebels. I formation the backfield, a 4-man front being shown by Zionsville. Pitch to Nally, runs off right tackle, not much there. In fact, he'll get back to the 20-yard line. A gain of 2 on the play, but a rare 3rd and long now coming up here for Roncalli. Taking a look at the Zionsville defense, Mark Shorts, one of their leading tacklers, 26 tackles on the season. Aaron Davis, Damian Decker there as well. Chris Ransdell, Chris Stevens, their leading tackler, the middle linebacker, with 45 tackles on the season. And Corey Richmond, their starting quarterback, will see some time at defensive back there as well. 3rd down and long coming up here for Roncalli. Once again, ball spotted at their own 20-yard line. This time, dropping back to pass is Harrington. Here comes Steve LaFoon on the pressure. Harrington avoids 1 man. It's a second, but is finally taken down. Well back behind the line of scrimmage. Several Zionsville players in on the play. Aaron Davis eventually gets the sack for Zionsville, and a bad start for Roncalli as they go 5 yards backwards. It's going to be 4th down and long coming up here. Taking a look at the replay. Great job that time by Zionsville pressuring defensively. So back to punt for Roncalli. Looks like will be Nick Johnson. Johnson will kick this one away as a low line drive kick over the head and off the fingertips. So this is a live football. It is picked up by Zionsville. Billy Slama was able to pick it up, and he will take it to just shy of the 50-yard line. In fact, it'll be at the 47-yard line. And Zionsville will have great field position to start their first drive of the game.
Well, Greg, let's hear from Burger King, one of our fine sponsors tonight. There is a Burger King near Roncalli High School at 3823 Emerson Avenue, and Zionsville at 1490 West Oak. Burger King before and after the game.
So 1st and 10 coming up here for the Zionsville Eagles. Will have the football at their own 48-yard line. They'll also line up with 2 wide of the near to the far side this time in an I formation in the backfield. Ryan Wagner will dot the I for the Eagles. Fullback Austin Smith now will go in motion. Handoff going left side. Wagner tries to cut back, finds a little bit of room, and will squirt into Roncalli territory at about the 49-yard line. Call it a gain of 3 on the play. It's going to be 2nd down and 7. We mentioned Smith and Wagner in the backfield. Corey Richmond, the team's starting quarterback, has thrown for over 400 yards passing so far on the season. Look at the defense as well. The big left tackle is Zach Starkey, 6'6", 335. I think, Dennis, you may be visiting that Burger King near Roncalli High School shortly after this one is over. Looks like we may have had a penalty flag on the play as they're going to mark some space off here. In fact, they will mark it back to the 43-yard line. It's going to be an illegal shift. Maybe the fullback that time may have been going forward when the play was starting. 1st and 15 instead of 2nd and 7. Now coming up here for the Eagles from Zionsville. Just getting started here from Roncalli Stadium this evening. No score between the Rebels and the Zionsville Eagles. Here on the WHMB TV 40 high school football game of the week. Slama comes in motion to the near side. Richmond going to throw. Quick out in the flat. It is caught by Slama, and he is taken down out of bounds. And that's one aspect offensively, Dennis, where Zionsville probably has the advantage. They're a little more balanced offensively.
Well, Greg, you mentioned that Zionsville was off to a 2-3 start, but they moved into that tough Hoosier Crossroads conference this year.
Take a look at the Roncalli defense. They will play a lot of 4-4-3 action. In fact, they actually list 5 linebackers, including starter and quarterback Jimmy Harrington in there as well. 2nd down and call it 9 coming up here for Zionsville. After the 6-yard completion on the first pass attempt from Richmond to Slama. Roncalli showing a 4-man front here. Richmond takes the snap. Fakes the fullback dive. The keeper rolls it left side, cuts back, still going, and finally tripped up. Taken down inside the 40-yard line of Roncalli. A gain of 15 on the play. A big gainer here for Zionsville.
Well, Grady, that's an important thing about having a great running back like Wagner, because Richmond was able to fake it and get a nice run here, and it looks like they picked up a 1st down there, Greg.
Richmond on the season, 11 carries for 69 yards coming into tonight's contest, and the first down of tonight's game goes to Zionsville. Clock rolling at 9:16 left to go here in quarter. No score. Zionsville's first drive of the game. Fullback going in motion. They're going to hand off right side to Wagner. Wagner sees a lot of red shirts, cuts back, and is able to dive forward. Loose football. Roncalli says they have it. They do. The Rebels come up with the football. Obviously, turnover is going to play a big part in this one, as they will any contest.
Well, Greg, Zionsville is moving the ball real well here on this drive, and after the 1st down by Richmond, here comes Wagner. He makes a fake, and looks like number 47 knocked the ball free, and Roncalli was able to come up with the free ball.
David Underwood knocked it loose. Justin Green was able to pick it up for the Rebels, so a Zionsville drive is stopped by the loose football.
Here's another look at it, Greg. Great camera work, like always, by the TV 40 crew, and we see Roncalli coming up with that fumble.
Great job, guys, picking that angle up. 1st and 10 coming up here to Roncalli. Richie Nally, the handoff. Goes off right tackle, and once again, not much there as Zionsville able to make the shutdown defensively. Call it a gain of 1 on the play. It's 2nd and 9 coming up, and not the typical Roncalli start we're used to seeing, although they're a team that likes to wear you down as games go on.
Well, you mentioned the Cincinnati Moeller team, and I was going to mention that for people around here, that might be equated with a Ben Davis Cathedral. They always have a perennial power, not only in the state of Ohio, but nationally.
So 2nd down and 9 coming up here for the Rebels. Pitch goes to Nally, finds a seam, gets outside, down the sideline, finally taken down. That is Richmond. Corey Richmond forcing him out of bounds. There's the first big gainer of the day for Roncalli.
Well, Richie was able to hit it and go outside, and we'll take a look at this. It's a little bit of a sweep here, and now he just hits the hole, and there he goes, and he goes for 20 yards there, Greg.
Great job by John Heiss, the fullback that time. Did a great job of sealing off that outside guy on the defensive side of the football, finding that lane for Richie Nally. 1st and 10 coming up here. Ball spotted at the Zionsville 44-yard line. Under center is Harrington. He'll take the snap. Handoff Nally up the middle this time. Finds a gap. Gets outside and turns on the Jets. Can anybody catch him? Yes, they do. He's knocked out of bounds just shy of the goal line. Making the tackle is Ben Brown for Zionsville. If not, it's 6-0 Roncalli.
Well, Greg, we're finding out quick with this replay. Here's Nally. He bounces outside again, and there he goes off to the races for a 31-yard gain. And here in the first few minutes of the first quarter, we're seeing why Richie Nally is one of the best running backs in the metro area.
It's insert tailback for Roncalli. Every year usually it's a different guy. This year it is Richie Nally. 5 carries and 52 yards so far for Nally on this young contest. He'll get it again. Pitch left side. Finds a seam again. Bounces outside. Touchdown, Roncalli. They do it the Rebel way. They rush it down the field. Nally from 13 yards out, and the Rebels get a quick 6-0 lead.
Well, Greg, it was Nally on that drive. The last 3 carries, 64 yards, and we see this touchdown run capping off this drive, and we'll say this was a quick drive.
And look at even who one of his blockers was, his quarterback in Harrington, and he gets a great block for him, too. In fact, the final block that springs him into the end zone. Fullback John Heiss doing a good job there as well. But at Roncalli, everybody blocks for the guy carrying the football. The extra point is up and good. It is knocked through by Mike Sullivan. We'll take this quick timeout. Roncalli leads at 7-0 here on the TV 40 Game of the Week. Team, your offense almost can turn into your defense. Obviously still in the first quarter, but a sign of this good was the Roncalli football team getting that early lead.
Well, as you know, Greg, in football, it's always important to capitalize on the turnovers.
Kickoff is somewhat of a short one. It is fielded back at about the 15-yard line. That is Wagner on kickoff return. Finds a hole and will dive forward. He'll get out to around the 39-yard line, so excellent field position again for Zionsville.
As we take a look at the scoring drive here, it was 4 plays, 65 yards, and like I said, it was a quick drive, 56 seconds there, Greg.
There was one play where Nelly got 1 yard. After that, it was off to the races for Richie, and once again, the fumble that was picked up by Roncalli and Justin Green, forced by David Underwood, really got that drive started.
Well, this is a difficult place to come in and play anyway, but when you start the game off with the turnover, and then you have Roncalli capitalize on it, Greg, it really makes Roncalli get off to a quick start.
I formation in the backfield, double wide to the near side of the field this time for Zionsville. Richmond takes the snap, fakes the fullback dive, will keep it, hurdles his own man, bounces outside, but that time is opposite number. The quarterback, also linebacker, Jimmy Harrington, makes the tackle, and we've got some laundry on the field, maybe a little extracurricular activity going on after the play. And the way Roncalli celebrated, it doesn't look too good for Zionsville. In fact, it's going to be a dead ball foul against the Eagles. This is Zionsville got a positive game, but once again, wiped that out because of marching at 15 yards back for the dead ball foul.
Well, Greg, it's interesting. You noted that the rush in the first series was only Richmond's 11th rush of the season, and he held on to the ball that time. So maybe they've found a wrinkle in their offense they're going to try out here against Roncalli.
Well, obviously, a lot of teams keying on Wagner, as we did in the pregame show. Zionsville trying to diversify a little bit. It was a gain of 5 on the play. Because it was a dead ball foul, the play will count, and they will mark it off 15 yards on the play. So second and long coming up here. In fact, mark it off to be around second down, and it looks to be around 16 yards. They mark it back to the 29-yard line. Second and 20 coming up here for the Eagles. Going in motion is Slama for the Eagles. Long count that time by Richmond. Looking left side, finds up a man, and oh, he dropped it. Hit him right between the 1 and the O. Dennis simply tried to turn too soon.
Yeah, I think Slama tried to run before he caught the ball, and he maybe could have juked a little bit and had a long way to run if he would have caught that.
I think that time Slama that time was a little surprised that he ended up being that wide open and have a Roncalli defender within 5 yards of him.
I started to mention that Zionsville moved into a new conference this year, moving from the Range Light into the Hoosier Crossroads. And listen to these football powers: Greg, Avon, Brownsburg, Hamilton Southeastern, Harrison, McCutcheon, Noblesville, Westfield. Those are some pretty good teams. We'll see Avon in the last game of the season against Greenwood.
Zionsville lost to that Avon team last week. Richmond to throw, gets it off just before he is hit out from the outstretched arms of one Kyle Hall in Richmond. A little late to get up. Good shot applied by Roncalli. 4th and long.
Of course, my good friend Randy Effner, the head of the Booster Club at Avon, I would be remiss not to mention his outstanding son, Lloyd Effner, who is having a tremendous year for Avon.
Tonight, the Orioles taking on the Franklin Grizzly Cubs, one of their old Mid-State Conference opponents. Back deep to punt for Zionsville is Wagner. Standing back at about the 30-yard line to return for Roncalli. That is Nick Himes. Himes fields on his heels to the 30. Tries to cut back 35 and will get forward around the 39-yard line. Tackle is made at that time by Zionsville. Making the tackle was Cody Selman. 38-yard punt that time by Wagner. 9-yard return for Roncalli, and the Rebels will have solid field position at their own 38-yard line to start off their third drive of the evening.
Well, Greg, I want to tell you about a new sponsor we're excited to have, Kopusky's. full-service car wash. Kopetsky's full-service car wash has 2 locations at 2640 South Madison Avenue, Roncalli, on the west side at 3433 West 16th Street.
Double tight end set for Roncalli here, I formation on 1st and 10 from the Rebel 38-yard line. Harrington under center, pitches right side. Nally cuts back inside, finds his blockers and dives forward to the 45-yard line. And Dennis, there's nothing flashy about this Roncalli offense. You know as a defense what's coming. It's got to be awfully tough to still know you're having trouble stopping it.
Well, as you mentioned, last year it was Tommy Shumbra. Of course, Shumbra, he had 3 touchdowns in the game that we did last year in the state championship, the 3A state championship against Norwell. And they just always have an outstanding back. You
go to Tommy, his older brother Sean, Nick Kidwell here in the recent past. Nearly every year it's like another senior gets his chance. This year it's Nally. Yeah. 2nd down and 3 coming up here. I formation. Harrington will send it left side. Nally cuts back, finds a gap, and this one may see the first appearance of the chain gang this evening. He needed to get to the 48-yard line. Going to be awfully close. We may have our first measurement of the night.
Well, Greg, I want to thank Athletic Director Dave Toner for all his help. I know we saw Frank Sergi coming in, the former Athletic Director. I think he moved on to Franklin Central as an administrator. But we always get treated very nice when we come to Roncalli.
3rd down and short coming up here for the Rebels. Called it about a half-yard at the 48-yard line. That is Lakers split to the right side. I formation. Hyson Nally once again to the backfield for the Rebels. Almost a goal line style defense here for Zionsville. Harrington on the keeper. That time just bounced right behind his right guard. He was just trying to find a hole for a couple of yards. He did that to the 50-yard line. 1st down, Rebels.
I think it really helps that even though Mike Harrington was not the starting quarterback last year, he was a linebacker on the state championship team and started. And he's moved in and really, I think, is running this team very well for Roncalli right now.
Harrington's older brother, John, also currently a player at the University of Indianapolis, as several. If you look at the University of Indianapolis roster, it's a big reason their program has really been on the uptick, as they've started to use this Roncalli team almost as a feeder system. This time, no wideouts, just a wingback right side on the I formation. And they're going to pitch it right side. Nally keeps it in between the hash marks. Now bounces outside, tries to get to the corner, and he'll finally be ridden out of bounds down at the 35-yard line. A gain of 15 on the play. Making the tackle for Zionsville, Chris Ransdell, as well as Corey Richmond. But a gain of 15 here. Beautiful work by Roncalli and their offensive line.
Well, Greg, if this keeps up, I think Zionsville's defense players are going to see Nally in their sleep tonight, because it's been all Nally, and he does a nice run. He fights off a tackle and gets outside and goes for a 1st down. He's got 10 carries for 91 yards, and we have 5:13 left in the 1st quarter, Greg.
The old saying, they're about as subtle as a punch to the gut. You know it's going with Roncalli. The question is, can you stop it? So far, Zionsville hasn't been able to. Harrington under center. Going in motion this time to the near side is a man for Roncalli. They're going to pitch it left side, Nally. Nally, that time is met and dropped in the backfield. Ben Brown, up from his safety position, makes the tackle for a loss of 1.
Well, Greg, you were with us a few weeks ago at Speedway. We did the Ritter Speedway game where Rodney Burns, he just went for 345 yards, which is the high for the state this year. And, of course, last week we did Brandon Jones, and he had, for Peru, and he had over two 300-yard games. But I don't know, maybe we'll see Mr. Nally have an outstanding performance tonight.
Ritchie is well on his way so far, despite the loss of a yard on that play. 2nd and 11 now from the 36-yard line of Zionsville. Clock rolling, 4.5 minutes left to go here in the opening quarter. Heiss goes in motion, stalls behind right tackle. Here's the shovel pitch, little misdirection. Nally finds a seam. Is kind of knocked off stride that time by one of the Zionsville defenders. Will still stumble forward. They will put it down exactly, looks like, at the 25-yard line. It's going to be awfully close.
Here we go with the replay, Greg. We see Nally again. He gets outside here, and he fights some way, and I think he just got enough for the 1st down.
So again, Richmond that time, as well as Braun making the tackle.
Well, that puts Nally over 100 yards now. I think he's up to 102 yards right now on 11 carries, and just continues to have a great night.
Zionsville showing a 6-man front here. They'll pitch left side. Nally bounces outside, is met, and is taken down. After a 3 or 4 yard game, even on that play, you see Nally. He saw that the hit was coming, lowered his shoulder to get as much yards as possible.
I was going to talk about Coach McWhorter for Zionsville, Greg. You probably know this, but he was one of the only coaches, I would guess, that was undefeated in his first 19 games as a coach, because he came in '96 and led Zionsville to a state championship against Fort Wayne Dwenger, 14-7, and then I think he maybe rattled off 9 or 10 in a row the next year. So at one point he was 19 or 20-0. And he's got an impressive, I think his record now is 43-12 overall. So he's had a pretty good career at Zionsville.
A lot of tradition between these two schools. Once again, 7 state titles in the last 15 years for these two teams combined. Pitch right side. Nally gets outside, cuts back, dives it forward, but there will be a flag on the play. Mark Sergey made a great block on the play, but there is a flag it down, and it is from the area that normally a holding call will be made, and that trend continues. March this one off against Roncalli. First flag against the Rebels so far this evening.
Well, we saw a turnover hurt Zionsville, so we take another look at this, and we see Nolly go outside again. He's looking for another first down, and there's the block by Sergey, but there's a hold someplace in there. I don't know. I saw it on that replay, but obviously the referee saw something. Is going to march the Rebels back.
They'll mark it back to the 29-yard line. The hold occurred at the 19, so mark it back from that spot. So 2nd and 14 coming up here from the 29-yard line for Roncalli. This drive now, not only a lot of plays, but even a lot of clock time as well, and that's the danger you run into when you play the Rebels. 3:10 now left to go in the first quarter. 7-0 Roncalli leads, and the Rebels are marching once again. 2 wide to the near side, make it 3 wide to the near side for the Rebels. Zionsville showing a 4-man front. Harrington back to throw, looking now. Will try to tuck it. Can he get away from LaFoon? Yes, he does. Bounced around like a pinball, still going, and he'll make his way down to about the 26-yard line. That's a great amount of effort for a 3-yard gain by Harrington.
Well, Greg, we saw a bunch of Eagles fly in there and do a great job pursuing the quarterback, and Harrington was bottled up. As we take a look at this, Harrington looks like he's trying to find a receiver. He gets flushed out of the pocket, and here comes a bunch of Eagles, a flock of Eagles, and they are able to put him down.
It's a whole lot better than a flock of seagulls. 3rd and 11 coming up here.
Do Eagles find a flock? I don't know.
Something like
Probably
that.
A bad bird analogy.
The 26-yard line of Zionsville. 3rd down and 11 coming up here. I formation in the backfield. Harrington pitches left side. They're going to hand off the end around. Now it's an option pass. They find an open man. Harrington lost his helmet. Kept the football, but this one's going to come back. I'm not sure that they had enough guys covering the line at the line of scrimmage. They may have also had a guy in motion as well. The flags are thrown at the start of the play. Beautiful play design by Roncalli, but I think it's all for naught. This one should be coming back.
Well, Greg, that's one of those fun plays. Unfortunately, we had a legal procedure, so if they can work out the bugs with wherever the motion was, it was a fun play. As we see number 15 throwing the ball.
Great throw that time by Roncalli, and Nick Johnson. He's their backup quarterback, lined up at wingback. Able to hang on to the ball that time was Harrington. Once again, his helmet went flying.
I tell you, Greg, we've seen Corey Richmond hit 2 or 3 times tonight. Really put on a really good hit for the Eagles back there in the defensive backfield. As you mentioned earlier, he starts a defensive back too, and he's a tough hitter for a quarterback.
Now I was getting ready to say the same thing. For a guy who's normally throwing passes, he's throwing some hits around back there.
He's probably hoping that they forget when he's on offense how hard he's hitting the guys on defense.
A 5-yard penalty against the Rebels. 3rd down and 16 coming up here for Roncalli. Looks like the Rebels are going to let the play clock roll down, and they will go ahead and burn a timeout. And we will do the same as well. The score with 1:37 left to go here in the first quarter. It's Roncalli 7 and Zionsville nothing. You're watching the high school football game of the week on WHMB TV 40. Long coming up here. They will make sure they can cash in this scoring opportunity as well. And this has been vintage Roncalli football so far. Richie Nally obviously has been a big part of that.
Yeah, I think, I was going to mention while we have this timeout that in 2 weeks we'll be at Arlington. We're going to be doing the Cathedral Arlington game. And Otis Shannon comes into the night with 913 yards to get the state record, held by Brandon Robinson of Heritage, who graduated in '98. And I guess if Otis can have a night like he did against Cincinnati LaSalle last year, 489 yards, we might be looking at having him on the air when he's looking at the state record. But he has to have a big night against Rebuff or their opponent the next week.
Arrington back to throw, third and long, looking, pocket collapsing, loses the football, is able to grab it back. But that time, credit the coverage and the defensive line. The pocket collapsed, nobody to throw it to. Roncalli will face a 4th and long. Steve LaFoon and his mates on the defensive line doing a great job on the pressure on the play.
Well, Greg, Coach McWhorter really has to be happy with the penetration that his defensive line has got on the his pass rush on this set of downs. And really, Nally was dominating on the ground, and they had to go to a pass. They got in a passing situation a couple times, and Zionsville was able to drop the quarterback.
Roncalli going to play the field position game here on 4th down and 20. Johnson drops back to punt, trying to pooch this one. He angles it. Can he get it out of bounds? Yes, he does before it gets to the end zone. Now we'll see as the officials march it. They're going to mark it at the 5-yard line. Excellent special teams work by Roncalli.
Well, it's always important to, get the advantage when it comes to field position. And when you do a coffin corner kick like that, that's going to put Zionsville back in the hole, and we'll see what Richmond and Wagner are able to do in this situation.
Even though Roncalli was unable to put the ball in the end zone, held it for nearly 6 minutes on the drive. And once again, Roncalli, a good defensive team, but they're helped out by being a good defensive team because their offense simply limits the other team's possessions. So 1st and 10 in the shadows of their own goalpost here for the Eagles as they'll start at the 5-yard line. Once again, I formation for Zionsville. Richmond under center. Takes the snap, handed off, and Wagner's able to hurdle a guy, and that is actually the backup quarterback, and Matt Fritz, that is now in there for Zionsville. Both of these two guys have seen play at rotating at quarterback all season. They're both seniors.
Well, on that run, Wagner looked like that he might have been at the goal line, his own goal line, trying to go in for a score because he did a little bit of a hop, but it was effective and was able to jump over the huddle and get a few yards.
We've seen both him and Richmond hurdle a defender or two this evening. A gain of 6 for Wagner. It's going to be 2nd down and 4 here as we're now less than a minute left to go in the first quarter.
I know the track and field events are getting ready with the Olympics. I don't know if they saw the high hurdle prelims today or what, but they're doing something out there.
Looking to throw as Fritz left side finds a man. It is caught by Slama. He'll be knocked out of bounds just shy of the 25-yard line. Down to the 24, a gain of 13 on the play. And it's 1st and 10 coming up for Zionsville. That was big to get out away from their own end zone.
I was going to use the Edwin Moses analogy, but I don't know how many of the high school kids would know who he was. Here's the replay here. We see a nice little throw by Richmond. And he gets it out to Slama and gets a 1st down. He gains 12 yards in that play.
They'll put him out of bounds at the 23, so 1st down and 10 from there after the 12-yard connection that time from Fritz to Slama. I formation of the backfield. Handoff goes to Wagner. Makes a couple of guys miss. Cuts back, still rumbling, and is finally taken down at around the 31-yard line.
I really like Wagner. He's sort of a fullback with tailback speed. He does a nice job there. As we look at a replay here, and Wagner just gets the handoff and does a nice job and rambles for 12 yards, Greg, for a 1st down. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's a gain of
8 yards. Sorry.
It's a gain of 2 on the play. Zionsville is going to let the clock roll down as the first quarter will come to an end. Roncalli leads at 7-0 after 1 quarter of play. You're watching the high school football game of the week on WHMB TV 40.
Jaggers Buick Olds Pontiac GMC is located on Highway 39 North in Lebanon. At Jaggers has an excellent selection of Buicks, Pontiacs, Oldsmobiles, and GMC trucks. There's also a large selection of pre-owned vehicles. That's Jaggers on State Road 39 North in Lebanon.
Handoff goes to Wagner, the deep back. First play of the quarter. Needed to get 2 for the 1st down. Don't think he got it. I think he got about half of that, maybe a gain of 1. Looks like the officials, they're going to give him a little bit of a positive spot here. Could be close. Looks like it's going to be just shy. We'll wait for the official measurement here.
Well, Greg, our crack stats man, Tim Borth, has never missed one here in the years he's done it, and he's saying they are short.
Looks like it's going to be 3rd down and less than a yard to go.
And Mr. Borth is still, his record is true, 100% through the years.
Third down and about half a yard coming up here for the Zionsville Eagles. Nice job by Roncalli. Such a tough team to run against because they use a 4-4, even sometimes a 4-5 defensive alignment.
Well, Greg, if there can be a big play at the beginning of the second quarter, this is it. This is a big play in the game to see the momentum can shift to Zionsville.
This time they hand off to the fullback. Awfully close. They didn't need much at all. Roncalli was there to swarm. The Rebels are celebrating, but I think forward progress may have gotten him the first down. Let's see where they're going to mark this one here. It's going to be awfully close once again either way. And they're going to give it to him. Roncalli was celebrating, and once again a good stop, if you will, because he didn't get much. The thing is, though, he didn't need much. Probably didn't get a yard total on the play, but he gets the first down, and Zionsville's drive continues.
Well, Greg, Roncalli just did a great job. A couple tacklers came up and stopped him, and I thought he might be short, but they gave him his forward progress for the first down.
They'll line up two wide of the near side this time, will Zionsville, trying to stack the short side of the field. They're going to run opposite way to Wagner. Finds a hole, bounces off a linebacker, and is stopped there at the 39-yard line. That time the tackle, or simply getting in the way, if you will, for Roncalli on the play, was made by Mark Ambrister making the play.
Well, Greg, as I was driving in this crazy traffic because of the Formula One race, I heard Tim Bragg's last broadcast on Sports Daily, and he mentioned Greg Rakestraw.
And I only had to pay him $20 to do so as well. So
how long did you produce that show?
I was the producer of the Sports Daily for about 15 months. So a good friend of Tim's, and I'm happy for him. He's moving on to his TV career now at Channel 6. 2nd and 5 coming up here. This time a quick throw on the flat. Slama had to slide to make the catch. Was he able to hang on? Yes, he was. Where they're spotting it, though, looks like it's going to be a gain of 6 and a first down for Zionsville. The Eagles now have been able to string 3 first downs consecutively on this drive.
Well, I think that is going to be a first down, Greg, and that's important for Zionsville to sustain a drive here. And we saw in the first drive of the game that they were able to move the chains until the fumble, and we'll see if they can get something going here. I was going to mention about Tim, if he ever becomes famous, he did get somewhat of a TV break on TV 40 because, of course, he's part of the University of Indianapolis broadcast that we produce on our station.
Our football sidelines reporter and basketball play-by-play man for the Greyhounds, the U of I alum. Handoff Wagner, cutting, slicing, and dicing his way to the Roncalli defense. And Wagner makes his way all the way down to the 39-yard line. Solid gain on the play. Call it a gain on the play of 16 yards.
And
We've got a player down. A great job, though, that time by Wagner. His line got him the initial hole. He did the rest.
We see Wagner here. He breaks out and fights his way to the first down. And as you said earlier, Greg, they were able to hit Slama on a couple passes. Has opened up the running game a little bit more for Wagner, and he has become more effective with the run. As we see an injured player.
We've got a Zionsville player down here for the Eagles. While they're tending to him, let's go ahead and sneak in this timeout. Roncalli leads at 7-0, but Zionsville is driving here on TV 40. High formation here for Zionsville on 1st and 10 from inside the Roncalli 40-yard line now. That's Fritz under center, handing off the deep back in Wagner. Not much there, but he's able to dive forward to around the 37, so call it a gain of 2 on the play. And this drive has been crucial for Zionsville, trying to bounce back from a first quarter that was dominated both offensively and time of possession-wise by Roncalli.
Well, Greg, as we mentioned in the open, this year, Ryan Wagner has been a big part of the Zionsville offense. He came in with 726 yards rushing and 10 touchdowns, and we've seen in this drive how effective he can be on the ground.
2nd and 9 coming up, so a gain of just 1 that time for Wagner on the carry. It's an eye formation here. Quick pass, throw it left side for Slama. Stumbles, able to keep his balance and dives forward. Gets down to the 34-yard line. So call it a gain of 4 on the play. It's going to be 3rd down and 5. Either way, it's going to be 3rd down in the kind of that middle range situation here for Zionsville. And even already this early, they may be in 4-down territory here against Roncalli. Clock is rolling with 8:21 left to go in the second quarter. And as we kind of expected coming into this game tonight, Dennis, we're going to see probably a lot of these longer drives with both of these teams able to rush the football.
Well, this is the announcer's dream. This game might be over by 8:30 the way it's going. So
one wide to each side here on third down here for Zionsville. Fritz is under center, 3rd and 6. Quick out once again, right side, picked off. That time Roncalli. Roncalli making the interception was David Jessup. Jessup that time saw that the pass was going to be behind the intended receiver, locked eyes with the quarterback, and if he doesn't stumble, it's 13-0.
Jessup, as we see on this replay, Jessup did a great job reading this, steps in. Oh, and as you said, Greg, if he could have kept his feet, he might have been going all the way for a TD.
Ball did pop out, but it was after Jessup had hit the ground, so the play was dead. Second time Roncalli has stopped a Zionsville drive in Roncalli's territory because of the turnovers. And good teams seem to make those breaks happen.
Well, as you see in any sport, when turnovers and errors just seem to be such a big factor in the results of the game. And as you said, we've seen that really be a bugaboo for Zionsville tonight.
So Roncalli takes over at about their own 32-yard line here. Pitch to the right side of Alley. Tries to bounce it outside. Good help that time. And the middle linebacker reading his play against the run like he should is Chris Stevens, showing right there why he leads Zionsville in tackles coming into tonight's game.
I don't know about you, Greg, but I've been very impressed with both defenses tonight. They've really done a good job trying to contain these great runners in Wagner and Nally, and I think that your hat has to go off to the defensive coordinators of both these teams.
So Nally, a minimal game to the 33, so call it a gain of 1. 2nd and 9 now coming up here for the Rebels. Play clock is down to 5, and Roncalli will use a lot of play clock on every play. Handoff Nally, not much room again. He'll be able to dive forward to the 36-yard line, so call it a gain of 2, maybe 3 on the play. 3rd down and long coming up here for Roncalli.
Well, our stats fan Tim Borf tells me that Nally only has 4 total yards in this quarter after dominating and having 105 yards in the first quarter. So whatever adjustments they're making on that side of the ball by Zionsville, they're doing a better job containing Nally.
Roncalli leading it 7-0 here. Second quarter of action from Roncalli Stadium on the city's south side. 3rd and 7 coming up here. Once again, I formation, double tight end set for the Rebels. Zionsville showing a 4-man front, but showing 5 backers here. Harrington gonna throw, looking across the middle of the field in traffic, and unable to hang on that time was his wingback on the play. It's Ryan English who couldn't hang on to the football. Amazing, he simply got his hands on the football, or there was 5 Zionsville defenders close to the play.
We'll take a look at this, Greg, and we see Harrington goes back to pass. He looks, and Zionsville's defense, they do a good job, make a hit there, and there's no way that receiver is going to be able to hold on to that ball.
I think that ball was actually tipped with the line of scrimmage as well. Johnson back to punt on an excellent one, a high one. It is fielded at the 24-yard line at that time, taken to the 30, and finally taken down at about the 32-yard line. Zionsville will start their own 32-yard line when we return. It's Rebels 7, Eagles nothing here on WHMB TV 40. This drive by hanging it off their main man in Wagner, and he will churn for the tough yardage. Gets forward to around the 37-yard line. Call it a gain of 5 on the play. 2nd and 6 coming up after a gain of 4 that time by Wagner.
Greg, Service Pipe and Supply wants to give you the best service possible, and that is proven by our name. We are a Ridge Tool, Porter Cable, Aquamatic, and pipe, valve, and fitting distributor. Service Pipe and Supply, 302 South New Jersey, downtown Indianapolis. For commercial and retail, call 639-3908.
2nd down and 6 coming up here for Zionsville. Ball spotted at their own 37-yard line. So again, 2 wide of the near side this time for the Eagles. Richmond back in at quarterback. He'll hand off Wagner. Waits for the hole to develop and does find one. Is able to scoot forward to the 40-yard line. Call it maybe the 41. So 3rd down and a long yard coming up here for Zionsville.
As we see Wagner get 9 yards in the last 2 runs. Once again, that phone number for Service Pipe and Supply is 639-9308.
So 3rd down and 2 coming up here as that ball spotted just past the Zionsville 40-yard line. 5 minutes and counting now left to go here in this quickly moving first half of play. Roncalli owns a 7-0 lead. Richie Nally with the only touchdown so far of tonight's game. I formation. One wide to each side on third and short. Handoff Wagner in the middle. Has it up for the first down and will churn forward to just shy of the 45. Call it a gain of right at about 4 on the play. It's going to be 1st and 10 coming up here for Zionsville. Zionsville has shown the ability to move the football so far on the evening. Question is, can they keep their hands on it and not turn the ball over to Roncalli? They've done it twice so far tonight.
Well, Greg, in the first quarter, it was all Nally, and this quarter has been all Wagner.
High formation once again in the backfield. The fullback leading the way for Wagner there is Austin Smith. And it's also correct the guys in the offensive line for Zionsville doing a great job opening up those holes for Wagner. Smith now will go in motion left side. Richmond fakes the handoff, looking. Here comes some pressure. Avoids one man, rolling right side, looking. He will tuck it and run. Cuts back from one man and is taken down at about the 48-yard line. Making the tackle on the play for Roncalli was Tommy Kraft. A gain of a couple on the play for Richmond. It's going to be 2nd down and call it about 7 or 8 here for Zionsville.
Well, Greg, it looked like that Richmond might have lost that ball as we take a look at it. Richmond gets outside and is getting tackled, and the ball comes loose, but they're saying that he was on the ground. So, as you know, Greg, our ground cannot cause a fumble.
David Jessup in there on the tackle as well for the Rebels. 2nd down and 7 from the 48-yard line coming up here. Roncalli showing a 4-man defensive front this time through. Richmond fakes the handoff again, rolling left side. Here comes the pressure, avoids one man. Looking, finds his fullback, and his fullback will rumble. Lost the football, but did so out of bounds. Austin Smith that time with the reception. Looks like it's going to be enough for the first down for Zionsville. Austin Smith, the fullback, showing his hands on that play, and Zionsville will move the chains.
Well, Austin showed great desire here and was able to get a first down. As we take a look at the replay, we see Richmond roll out and sees Austin Smith there, and Smith was able to fight his way for a first down as he loses the ball out of bounds.
Great hit that time by Mark Mann. Unfortunately for Mark, his helmet to the football knocked it directly out of bounds. So Zionsville will keep possession. They have it at the 44-yard line of Roncalli after a gain of, call it 8 on the play.
Well, Greg, tonight we see two of the best teams in 3A, and again, next week we see one of the best teams in 3A. We go to Cicero to see number 6 Hamilton Heights Huskies face Northwestern Tigers in a great MIC battle. And
handoff goes to Wagner. Not much there for young Mr. Wagner. Call it a gain of 1 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 9 coming up here.
Coach Steve Stern of Hamilton Heights, he has an outstanding back, and Chris Trump. Chris went for 300 yards last week, and he's one of the leading rushers in the state. I think he's 10th in the state. And Northwestern, they have the 9th leading passer in the state, Nathan Gibson, and a great running back in Ryan Lance, so it should be a great offensive game.
What an amazing turnaround for Hamilton Heights. 0-10 just a couple of years ago, and now one of the ranked teams here in the state of Indiana. 2nd and long coming up here for Zionsville. 4-man front being shown here by the Rebels. Once again, Smith will go in motion right side. They fake the handoff again. Richmond looking, has the ball batted up in the air. Getting his big old mitts on at that one that time was young Mr. Eckert. Chris Eckert, all 6'4.5" of him that time, getting his hands on the football. 3rd and long coming up.
Well, Greg, we saw Zionsville earlier in the quarter getting some pressure on Roncalli's quarterback, Harrington, as we see Roncalli return the favor, getting some pressure on Richmond, and does a nice job deflecting it, and brings up a big 3rd down for Zionsville.
Chris Eckert on the play to make the stop, and does a good job of doing what you're told as a defensive lineman. If you can't get to the quarterback, get your hands up in the passing lane, and Chris did just exactly that there to knock the ball away from Richmond. 3rd and 9 coming up now here for the Eagles. Ball spotted at the 43-yard line of Roncalli. Coming in motion near side now, that is Slama for Zionsville. Richmond looking to throw, throwing right flat, has a man. Catch is made, losing the football again, but once again it goes out of bounds. The hit was made by Green. Catch was made that time by Tharas that time for Zionsville. He made the catch, turned the corner. It is going to be 4th down and short, though, coming up here for
As we take a look at a replay, Richmond rolls out here. and fights him with his way. Tell you, that's the third time that Zionsville's given up the ball in this possession, but fortunately, Greg, the ball's been going out of bounds, or the ball's been called dead.
That time went out of bounds and fell a little forward as well. He got a positive spot. 4th and 1 from the 35. Zionsville's going to go for it here on the Roncalli end of the field with 2:28 left to go in the first half of play. Richmond is under center. Long count. Nearly drew a man offside. Roncalli gets back. Richmond still barking cadence. Has plenty of time. Play clock has 13 left on it. And Zionsville looks like we'll call the timeout. He had plenty of time left. He will go ahead and call the timeout, though, and we will do the same as well. A 4th and 1 coming up here for Zionsville. Roncalli leads at 7-0 on TV 40. Roncalli Stadium, a 4-minute, 48-second drive so far for Zionsville, but a big play coming up here on 4th and 1.
Greg, we're going to talk to you about Pip Printing. We do color in a big way, adding big impact and more bang for your printing buck at Pip Printing. So if you want your printed material and color or on time, take it to Pip.
Great night for high school football. Thank you for joining us this evening here on WHMB Channel 40. Greg Rakestraw and Dennis Casey along with you, and a lot of our best friends here with us this evening as well. They have got this stadium ringed tonight to watch this matchup of 3A powers in Zionsville and Roncalli. 4th and 1 coming up here for the Eagles. Richmond under center. High formation in the backfield for Zionsville. Richmond will take the snap. Hand off Wagner. Wagner hit behind the line of scrimmage, but dives forward, and it looks like he got it. Roncalli had penetration, but the size of Wagner is able to carry him forward, and it looks like a big 4th down conversion for Zionsville.
Well, Greg, we see the replay here, and it's Wagner once again, and he just powers his way for the 1st down. He gets initially stopped behind the scrimmage, the line of scrimmage, but he fights himself for the 1st down.
They're going to go ahead and measure this one, so we may a little premature giving it to him, although I think they have it from where it's spotted. Needed to get to right at the 34-yard line. They will pull the chains tight, and this one is a 1st down by about half a length of the football.
No sweat.
I'm not sure about that in the press box, sitting a little warm in here. I think no sweat might not be the appropriate term, so to speak, this evening.
I was going to mention, Greg, you mentioned about the great night for football and, at the Dome. Carmel and Warren Central's playing the 1st game, and we got Ben Davis and North Central in the 2nd game. And during that doubleheader, our good friend Jerry Baker, who does play-by-play for Channel 40, is being honored by the IHSAA for a District Medal Award, and we want to congratulate Jerry for that honor.
For a lifetime of great service to high school sports here in the state as well as to sports fans. Richmond left side finds his man, tackled immediately that time is Kyle Hall, who makes the grab. Mark Mann on the tackle for Roncalli. They say he did not get out of bounds, so that clock still rolls with just 1:50 left to go in the quarter.
Well, Greg, while we're, as we take a look at the replay, Richmond, he makes a good throw here to Kyle Hall, and he's able to find his way. And as you said, he unfortunately for Zionsville, he stayed in bounds, and the clock keeps moving.
Man did a great job to wrap him up immediately. One wide to each side, and once again, I formation in the backfield. Richmond under center. Clock now down to 1:25. Handoff to Wagner. Has some lead blockers. Cuts back and is taken down after a gain. He will get inside the 30-yard line. It's going to be 3rd down and short. And once again, it looks like time is going to be called as Zionsville wants to take the timeout and talk things over. We'll go ahead and keep it right here with just 1:12 left to go in the 2nd quarter. Once again, the 1st quarter dominated time of possession-wise and offensively by Roncalli. 2nd quarter, it's been the other way around. The Eagles just have yet to convert.
Well, Greg, how important is it for Zionsville to be able to push this in here at the end of the quarter? Because if they can go in tied up with Roncalli, playing away here and playing a very difficult place in Roncalli's home turf, I think this is key, don't you?
It's got to be huge for Zionsville, and they're going to be kind of a real mental letdown going into halftime because they've had 3 good drives, including this one. They had the long drive that nearly lasted 6 minutes earlier in this quarter. They lost on an interception. They also had a good drive going in the 1st quarter, which they lost on a fumble. So obviously Turnovers have been big tonight for Zionsville.
Well, you mentioned last year that Zionsville really played Roncalli tough. They were one of the two teams that played them tough during the regular season, and that score was 13-6. And I think we're coming down maybe to see a similar game here. If we'll see what happens. As we're passing out congratulations, I want to congratulate the Indianapolis Indians for winning the AAA World Series. We were blessed by having 6 of our games on this year and a couple of playoff games. And I want to congratulate Max Schumacher and Cal Burleson and our own Howard Kellman and the rest of the team for that championship.
Last night, the Indians wrapping it up with a 9-2 win over Memphis in Game 4 of the AAA World Series. In fact, in the brief 3-year history of the AAA World Series, the first time International League team has taken the crown. 3rd down and 4 coming up here. Richmond with a long count. Here comes the blitz. Here comes the pressure, and Richmond is taken down. Back at the 30-yard line, getting his mitts around the Zionsville quarterback was Nick Allen, making the sack. 4th down now from the 30-yard line. Clock is rolling with 1:04 left to go here in the quarter.
Well, Greg, as we take a look at this, a replay, you know, Roncalli, this is the 3rd time that their defensive line has stepped up and been able to sack the quarterback in a key situation.
So they're going to go for it here on 4th down from the 30-yard line. Richmond pump fake throwing across the flat. Has his man. It's the tight end and Steve LaFoon, and it's good for a 1st down for Zionsville. That's the 2nd big 4th down conversion of the quarter for Zionsville.
Great job by Richmond, and but the clock's moving here. We only have 43 seconds left. Does Zionsville have time?
Chains moved a little slowly, kind of helped him out that time. A gain of 13 on the play. It's 1st and 10. Now from the Roncalli 17, and Richmond will simply spike the football to stop the clock with 36.8 seconds left to go here in the 2nd quarter. And once again, the momentum going into halftime rests on what happens in this final 36.8. If Zionsville can score, this is a completely different football game.
Well, Greg, we've seen Richmond be effective with the pass here in the 2nd quarter, and I don't know, what would you do, Greg, in this play?
If I were Zionsville, you just got to get something positive, even if it's a short pass, if you will. Try to go it to the sidelines, and let's see what happens here.
I'm predicting they're going to try to hit Hall here in the end zone.
2 wide to the left side, I formation in the backfield. This time Hall will go in motion to the far side of the field now. Richmond looking to throw. Here comes the blitz. They throw it right side. It is tipped, and once again, nearly intercepted by Harrington. And if Harrington hangs on to that one, it's 13-0. 3rd and 10 now coming up here for Zionsville.
Well, Greg, we see that Jimmy Harrington is a very intelligent football player, and he did a great job bringing that pass by Richmond. And as we see a replay of this is the 2nd time we've seen a Roncalli player step in and read the play perfectly and almost go for 6.
Play 16 of the drive now for Zionsville. They face a 3rd and 10 from the Roncalli 17-yard line. I formation once again. Clock is stopped with just over 32 seconds left to go in the half. Richmond to throw, pump fake, looking for the corner. Can Hall get there? Nope. Thrown well out of bounds that time. The out and up, if you will. Thrown a little too far out that time by Zionsville. 4th and 10. Ben Jones, the field goal kicker, will make his way on the field as Zionsville wants to make sure they can get some points. The only negative thing for Zionsville is they're kind of in an area of the turf where it's kind of chunked up in between the hash marks, so to speak. Could be tough footing for the kicker.
Well, Greg, on this last play on 3rd down, that was a pretty smart play by Richmond, because in that situation, you want to throw the ball to where there's no chance there's going to be interception, and the only person that could have caught that was Hall on that play.
Jones will kick one from 35 yards. Holder is Fritz. He's got 2 field goals so far in the season. This one has the distance. Does he tuck it inside the upright? Yes, he does. Zionsville didn't get 6, but they got 3 to get on the board. 35-yarder that time for Jones. It's 7-3 Roncalli with 22 seconds left to go here in quarter number 2. Good work that time by the snapper, the holder, and especially Jones as well from 35 yards out. And Zionsville needed to get some points going into the halftime break, and they do just that.
Well, Greg, I don't know about you, but we've been doing these games for 12. Visit Vito's Italian Restaurant in the corner of 11 and Meridian. Vito's features delicious pasta. Ask for the popular chicken Marcella dish. Vito's also has gourmet pizza and great tasting traditional toppings. For carryout, call 888-888-1112. And Greg, I want you to do a personal testimonial.
Chicken Marsala, chicken fettuccine. I see Jim, the owner of Vito's, sitting in the bleachers directly to our right, in fact. So he's here at the game, and I'm sure he's going to scurry home and make sure he watches tonight's game on WHMB Channel 40 as well. And I can credit Vito's for making me the overweight man that I am today. And I think I have actually put one of Jim's kids through Roncalli High School as many times as I went to Vito's over the course of the last several years. Zionsville will have the football to start things off in the third quarter. That's really the way they had things in the second quarter. In fact, Zionsville had the football for 11:24 of the past 13:23. During that time, Roncalli only has run 4 plays for a total of 6 yards during that time. And once again, the Eagles will have things to start things in quarter number 3. Wagner will drop back at about his own 10-yard line to receive. The kick is away. It is a short kick, angled to the sideline, fielded about the 15-yard line by Zionsville. That's Austin Smith, the fullback, who gets some positive yardage on the return. It'll be solid starting field position for the Eagles at about their own 35-yard line. And Dennis, in the second half, we're likely to see a lot of things we saw in half number 1.
Well, Greg, we talked about the importance there at the end of the second quarter with Jones kicking the field goal and getting Zionsville on the scoreboard, that 35-yard field goal. And we'll see if Zionsville can pick up where they left off at the end of the quarter.
Eagles will once again have the football at their own 35-yard line. This time they'll split LaFoon out as a wide receiver to the near side. Also split that direction is Billy Slama. Smith and Wagner in the I formation here for Zionsville. LaFoon will go in motion to the near side of the field. That is Richmond in a quarterback now. Handoff to Wagner. Finds a hole and is met by the linebacking core of Roncalli at about the, go ahead and call it the 40-yard line. So a gain of 5 that time for Wagner. 2nd down and 5 coming up here for the Eagles after the first play of the quarter.
Well, we mentioned that Wagner had 54 yards in the first half and on 12 carries. So you're looking at a little bit over 4 yards a carry, and we see him really pick up where he left off there with that rush.
That's actually below his average. He's averaging just under 7 yards a carry on the season, but as always, this is a tough defensive unit here at Roncalli. 2nd and 5 coming up here for the Eagles. Richmond this time hands off again to the deep back in Wagner, runs into the pile at about the 44. No, he'll spin forward. He'll get some extra yardage on the second effort, and looks like he's got the first down after a 5-yard gain.
Greg, our good friend Jim McCarty at TV 40, he wanted us to remind everybody that come join all the families in the Indianapolis area for the 40 Family Film Fest tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock at General Cinema at Lake Clearwater. The feature film will be My Dog Skip. My dog are Shiloh and Sheba, but this is My Dog Skip. Admission is free, and there will be several giveaways for kids. That's tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. at the General Cinema at Lake Clearwater.
One wide to the near side, one to the far side as well. I formation on 1st and 10 after the 5-yard pickup. This time Richmond looking to throw. Here comes the pressure hit as he throws. Finds his man. They say he short-hopped it. Slama, the sliding grab. Got it after a bounce. Good effort by the young man, but still 2nd and 10 coming up here. This is going to be an awfully close one when we take a look at the replay on this one.
How did Richmond get this ball off? He was had all kinds of rebels around him, and this was we'll see rebels with a cause, not without a cause. Little James Dean humor. I think this is his weekend at Fairmount. We see this pass and a little pressure, and Slama makes a great attempt, but he can't pull it in.
Tough effort that time once again by Slama for Zionsville. 2nd down and 10 coming up here now for the Eagles. Once again, they find Slama in the flat, breaks a tackle, turns upfield. First down and has it in Roncalli territory. Down to the 40-yard line, a gain of 15 on the play. That time Slama did a great job of cutting in to make the catch. Beat his man off the corner, and Zionsville once again is moving the football.
Well, we know that Corey Richmond and Slama are in the same class. I think they've thrown the ball that Richmond's thrown the ball to Slama a few times through the years. And we see Slama turn on the Jets, and he was almost gone there.
12 catches on the year for Slama. 12 receptions for Slama, coming in as 5 so far on this evening. And it's 1st and 10 for the Eagles at the Roncalli 40. So again, the I formation. Richmond, quick drop, out in the flat, and once again short hops his man. And we've seen guys on both sides of the football find this turf slippery this evening, Dennis.
Well, Greg, I think that's the 3rd straight attempt from Richmond to Slama, and I think they found a weakness in the defense there, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Mr. Wagner carry the ball this time.
If you're just joining us, third quarter of action here from Roncalli Stadium 9 on the south side of Indianapolis. Traditional 3A powers, Zionsville and Roncalli squaring off here. Roncalli a 7-3 lead, but the Eagles are driving at the Roncalli 40 here on the first drive of quarter number 3. Handoff to Wagner, cuts back, finds a seam, keeps the legs churning, and is finally brought down. It'll be just shy of the first down marker at the 30-yard line. A gain of 9 for the big tailback, and 3rd and 1 coming up here for Zionsville.
Well, Greg, as we take a look at this replay, how important it is they establish the pass with Richmond and Slama the last 3 plays, and here comes Mr. Richmond. He gains 9 yards, and we're looking at 3rd and short.
The Ross to the left side, Slama to the right side. I formation on 3rd down and 3 feet here for Zionsville. 5-man front being shown by the Rebels. Richmond's going to throw on 3rd and short. It pays off. He finds Slama taken down at the 25-yard line. A little misdirection, if you will, by Zionsville offensively, and it works like a charm.
Well, I think we've seen this same play 4 times on this drive. So obviously there's a soft spot in the defensive backfield of the Rebels, and Slama does a nice job holding on to this. He turns around and gets the first down.
Well, Roncalli traditionally plays that 4-4-3 defensively. And so maybe the one area where they could be susceptible, if you can have your offensive line block, you will get man-to-man coverage normally on the corners. A 6-yard gain, 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. Looking left side, has his man Richmond turning after making the grab is Hall. Once again, a short gain, and this is almost like seeing the old-style run and shoot. You'll see the 5 and 6 yards down the field, ball control passing, if you will, and it's working beautifully for Zionsville on the opening drive of the half.
Well, we've seen that over at Purdue the last few years with Drew Brees, and it's surprising that that's not used more at the high school level, because that's really kind of a control safe offense.
A 5-yard gain that time with the pass from Richmond to Hall. 2nd and 5 coming up here. Richmond looks to throw again, right side, finds Hall, makes the catch, knocked back immediately by Justin Green. It's a gain on the play of call it 4. 3rd down and a yard coming up here for Zionsville at the Roncalli 16-yard line. And once again, Zionsville is simply because they're getting man coverage on the wideouts, just simply getting the guys with a quick slant, taking advantage of the cushion they're getting, and they're moving the ball down the field.
Well, Richmond's 9 for 17 for 69 yards, and he's done a nice job in this drive, just marching him down these short hits. He's 4 for 6 for 30 yards in this drive.
So 3rd down and 1 from the 16-yard line. Clock rolling at 7:50 left to go here in the 3rd quarter. Hand off to Wagner, up the middle, makes one man miss and dives forward to the 11-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10, so they will be able to get a first down without getting into the end zone. It's a gain of 5 on the play for Wagner. Did a nice job of just shifting to the left at the line of scrimmage to avoid a Roncalli defender, and gets a 5-yard pickup and the first down.
Well, we saw late in the 2nd quarter that Roncalli was able to toughen up their defense and hold them to a field goal, so we'll see what happens here.
11 plays already for Zionsville, 54 yards and 4.5 minutes of clock time for the Eagles. I formation of the backfield, 1st and 10 from the Roncalli 11. LaFoon goes in motion slowly, sits down behind right guard. They hand off that way, and not much on the play. Early penetration that time for Roncalli. Back there in the backfield earlier were Nick Allen as well as Rob Wolfel. 2nd down and 10 coming up here from the 11-yard line. It's a good job that time for the early penetration on Roncalli's part on the play. 2nd and 10 coming up here for Zionsville, and the clock continues to roll as now the Eagles have nearly held this football for an entire half of the 3rd quarter.
Nick Allen did a terrific job tripping him up on that. He was in the backfield very quickly and was able to really hold Wagner, and Wagner was never really able to get going.
Zionsville's got to rush this one. Play clock down to 1 hand up on the draw to the fullback, and Smith. He's got a path to the end zone. A touchdown, Zionsville. There are no flags on the play. They haven't used that play all night. It works here for a touchdown, and Zionsville has their first lead at 9-7.
Well, Greg, Smith's only carried the ball 13 times this year, and he's averaging 6 yards a carry, so you know when he's getting the ball, he's getting some room to run. And as we take a look at it, Smith gets the handoff, and he waltzes in and really untouched. Maybe one Roncalli player got one hand on him, but he was really unscathed in the end zone.
We're going to go break on this down.
Zionsville had done a great job of using the short passing games and the handoff to the tailback when they went to the fullback dive. Nobody from Roncalli expected him to have the football. Zionsville takes the lead. Extra point, they're going to fake one. Rolling is Fritz. Can he find his way to the end zone? No, may have been a bad snap. He may have saw pressure. Either way, it didn't work. But Zionsville has the lead. They keep the football for the first 5.5 minutes of the quarter. And the score is Zionsville 9, Roncalli 7 here on WHMB TV 40. 11-yard touchdown carry that puts the Eagles on front for the first time at 9-7 on the evening. Jones is ready to kick this one off. 12 plays that time for Zionsville. So once again, Jones will kick off. It's standing back right about the goal line to return this one is Staley. 2 kicks from Jones already have gone into the end zone, and Call make that 3. So Staley's going to have an easy night returning kicks because he's not been able to return one so far. They've all been in the end zone, and Roncalli finds themselves behind for the first time this evening.
Craig, we want to tell you about one of our fine sponsors, a new one. We want to thank Dave Kopesky for getting involved. And Kopesky's full-service car wash has 2 locations at 2640 South Madison Avenue near Roncalli High School, and the west side at 3433 West 16th Street. Also, Burger King. There's a Burger King near Roncalli High School. Go ahead with the scoring drive here. 12 plays, 65 yards, and 5:30 was taken off the clock.
In fact, Zionsville has had the football now for 16:54, if you will, of the last 18:53. So for 17 of the last 19 minutes, the Eagles have had the football. This time, Roncalli tries a fullback dive of their own. John Heiss goes forward to around the 23-yard line. It's a gain of 3, 2nd and 7 coming up here.
Well, Greg, I'm trying to make a decision whether to go to Vito's or Burger King after the game.
Go to
let's
both.
Continue talking about Burger King. There's a Burger King near Roncalli High School at 3823 Emerson Avenue, and in Zionsville at 1490 West Oak. Burger King before and after the game.
I think a BK broiler and a chicken marsala is a good combination for any meal. 2nd and 7 coming up here. That's Sergi split to the left side for Roncalli. Traditional I formation in the backfield on 2nd down and 7. Pitch right side, Nally. Nally bounces it outside. Will find a couple of yards and will somehow elude the grasp of the outside linebacker for Zionsville to gain 4 to around the 27-yard line. Looks like they're going to take him down around the 25. Ended up making the tackle with Scott Martin on the play. It's going to be 3rd down and 3 now from the 27-yard line. And make sure you join us next week here on TV 40. The Hamilton Heights Huskies, the Northwestern Tigers, meeting at 10:30 next Friday night here on TV 40.
One of TV 40's favorite coaches, Dan Robinson up at Northwestern. He's come back. This is his 2nd year back, and he led Northwestern to the Dome in 1992, where they were defeated by Cathedral.
I formation, Heiss moving out right side this time. They fake the pitch that way, and they end up giving an inside handoff, and a wide open man for Roncalli, streaming down the sidelines, finally taken down, but not until he gets inside the territory of Zionsville. Nick Himes, 173-pound junior, on the inside handoff. They give it to the wing back, and it works like a charm. It faked out Zionsville, didn't fake out our cameras, though. Here's the replay.
Where did Greg Himes come from? You see him getting the ball, and he jukes his way up and does a tremendous job. They've been keying on Nally the whole evening, and here comes Nick Himes.
A gain on the play that time of 26 yards on the play to the 47-yard line of Zionsville. Handoff, Nally fights his way through traffic, bounces off tackles, and now this is Roncalli football. Once again, nothing flashy. Just get a couple of blockers out in front of your tailback and let him go. Nally works his way deeper into Zionsville territory. He'll make it inside the 40, down to around the 38-yard line. 2nd and 1 coming up here for the Rebels.
Well, Greg, Mr. Moe had gone on the side of Zionsville with that late field goal in the 2nd quarter and then the early score here in the 3rd, but here comes the Rebels.
It's the first real chance for Roncalli to move the football since the 1st quarter of play when they dominated the time of possession. 9-7, Zionsville has the lead. 4 minutes left to go in the 3rd quarter. Handoff, Nally, this time not much room. He will have the 1st down, though. Didn't need much. Needed 1, and he got about 2 down to the 36-yard line. In to make the play for Zionsville was Corey Richmond. But once again, not in time to stop the 1st down. The chains will move once again for the Rebels.
Greg, we do color in a big way, adding big impact and more bang for your printing buck at Pitt Printing. So if you want your printed materials in color or on time, take it to Pitt.
Richie Nally now 19 carries, 126 yards. Once again, another average night for a Roncalli tailback. Seems like they're always putting a man over 100 yards per contest. 1st and 10 from the Zionsville 36-yard line, and a little bit of an early start that time by the left tackle and Ron Wolfel, and it'll be 1st and 15 now for the Rebels. Snap count apparently was on 4, and he went on 3.
Third penalty for 17 yards to run.
Here's the replay as we take a look at this, and being an offensive lineman, I won't even talk about that. Did you play offensive lineman?
Actually, I look like an offensive lineman. I was a tennis player in high school.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
I was kind of the enforcer on the team. I didn't really play. I was just there, you know, kind of to scare people. 1st and 15 coming up from the 41-yard line.
Now, my favorite tennis player of all time, Boris Becker, he was a big guy, too.
There you go. And we've got trouble for Roncalli. They had an extra guy that broke loose from the huddle, and that will be a 12-man on the field violation. Player was running off to the sidelines, but if you break the huddle with 12 guys on the field, that'll be an illegal substitution called against your team. And once again, Roncalli marches backwards. All of a sudden is now gone to 1st and 20 from back at the 46.
Well, Greg, you're talking about being a big guy, and I'm a big guy, too. Let's talk about Vito's. They fed the crew, and I know that that's one of your favorite places to eat. Visit Vito's Italian restaurant on the corner of Stop 11 and Meridian. Vito's features delicious pasta. Ask for the popular chicken marsala dish. Vito's also has gourmet pizza and great tasting traditional toppings. For carryout, call 888-1112. And I also want to thank Lisa DeCamp.
Pitch goes right side. Nally finds some room outside, breaks a tackle, breaks 2 tackles. It's a race down the sideline. Richmond is able just to graze him out of bounds, if you will, just shy of the 20-yard line. It was 1st and 20. He got more than that. Down to the 20-yard line, it's a gain of 26 on the play. Excellent speed that time by Richie Nally of Roncalli.
Take a look at this, Greg, and we see Richie get outside, and Corey Richmond there again with a touchdown saving tackle. I think that's the 3rd time we've seen Richmond come up and make a saving tackle. Oh, Richmond he slipped through that tackle and just ran out of bounds.
Just got enough to get him out of bounds that time. Again, down to the 21-yard line. Heiss will go in motion right side. They fake the pitch right side. Here comes the handoff again. And this time it's the old shame on you if you fool me once. That time, the second time, it wasn't as successful on the inside handoff for Himes. He'll lose yardage on the play. 2nd and long coming up for Roncalli.
Well, Greg, I think that, Roncalli winning the state last year and going undefeated, maybe a lot of people expected them just to be the same type of team. But, I think looking at it, they had 2 players returning starters on the defense and maybe 3 or 4 on the offensive line. So it was a different team. Guys
like Mike Hyde, we mentioned Schember, Ryan Brizendine, part of that group as well. Some of their standout players from last year that have now moved on to college football careers. Right side, Richie Nally finds a hole, keeps the legs churning, and will finally be taken down. Looks like as he will make his way down around to the just shy of the 15-yard line. He gets about half of the yardage needed to back on that play. Goes from 2nd and 14. It's not going to be 3rd down, and call it about 5 or 6 coming up here for Roncalli.
Well, I know you're a young pup in your early 20s, but I just turned 40 and I'm forgetting things. But I think Schember went down for a couple games last year, and Nally was able to step in and really have some outstanding games.
And he went down during the playoffs, and Richie just stepped right in during the sectional and regional to make some big plays for the Rebels last season. 3rd and 6. It's just shy of the 15-yard line here where they spot the football. Pitch left side. Nally gets a great block from his fullback, lowers the shoulder, gets inside the 10, and that should be good enough for the 1st down. Heiss leveled 1 man, and then Rich Nally leveled another man on his own.
Well, Greg, this is turning into just a tremendous football game. After Zionsville marched down and took the lead, the Rebels come back, and it looks like that they're knocking on the door here, and we'll see a replay here of Nally just really running tough here and is able to, he was not to be denied. He looked like he was trying to find the end zone there, Greg.
1st and goal from the 9-yard line now for Roncalli. Play clock is down to 4. Pitch left side, Nally finds a block, makes a cut, breaks a tackle, keeps those legs going, but able just to snare that jersey up to slow him down. It was the middle linebacker in Stevens, Chris Stevens for Zionsville. And once again, we're already under a minute left to go here in quarter number 3, as both these teams have had excellent drives in quarter number 3.
Well, now he does his best Jim Brown imitation here. I wish I could talk like John Facenda, but I can. But now he just would not be denied here, and Zionsville was able to pull him down, and a nice hit there at the end of the play.
Not exactly the frozen tundra, but definitely some power football by Roncalli. 2nd and goal from the 6. Nally cuts back inside. He is met and is tackled inside the 5-yard line down to around the 3. Making the play that time for Zionsville was Damian Decker from his defensive line spot, and that will be the final play of quarter number 3. When we return for quarter 4, Roncalli will have it 3rd and goal inside the Zionsville 5. The score, it's Zionsville 9, Roncalli 7 on WHMB TV 40. Drive 6.5 minutes. Roncalli has kept the football as this drive goes from quarter 3 to quarter number 4. Now 3rd and goal coming up here for the Rebels.
Well, we want to thank the Myers over at Service Pipe and Supply. Service Pipe and Supply wants to give you the best possible service, and that is proven by our name. We are a Ridge Tool, Porter Cable, Aquamatic, and pipe, valve, and fitting distributor. Service Pipe and Supply, 302 South New Jersey, downtown Indianapolis. For commercial and retail, call 639-39308.
Heiss goes in motion. 3rd and goal from the 3. Pitch left side, Student body left side. Can Nally get in? No, he is just shy. And now, if you're Roncalli, what do? You've got 4th and goal, trying to punch it in. A field goal will give you the lead. With the way that Roncalli normally rushes the football, they'll more than likely go for it here. Looks like that Roncalli is going to take a timeout to decide things, and we'll take a break as well. What could be the pivotal play of this football game is coming up next after this on TV 40.
And that is 639-9308, and we appreciate them being with us tonight. And Love Heating and Air Conditioning, one of our regular sponsors on our games. They do a lot of the broadcasts through the year. Love Heating and Air Conditioning has been serving Central Indiana's needs since 1920. Love Heating and Air Conditioning is a full-service heating and cooling dealer. That's Love Heating and Air Conditioning. Call 353-2141.
That last carry was a gain of 2 by Nally. They'll be down to the 1-yard line. 4th and goal here for Roncalli with 11:35 left to play. Zionsville with a 9-7 lead.
Greg, we want to tell you about the good people at Jaggers Buick Olds. Jaggers Buick Olds Pontiac GMC is located on Highway 39 North in Lebanon. At Jaggers, they have excellent selection of Buicks, Pontiacs, Oldsmobiles, and GMC trucks.
4th down and goal coming up here. Roncalli going to try to punch it into the end zone. 4th and goal. Line up on the left hash mark. I formation of the backfield. Now Heiss will go in motion. The snap, the pitch. Nally, can he get in? Does he get in? Yes. Touchdown, Roncalli. Nally didn't have to get more than a yard. He got about a yard and a couple of inches. Just getting into the end zone and crossing the plane of the goal line. Roncalli gambles, and they lead at 13-9.
Well, Greg, it really only figures that they put on their Nally caps for this touchdown as you see him go over to the right side and powers himself in for the TD.
Right there's the textbook example of why you keep your legs churning. He was hit behind the line of scrimmage, but his legs powered him through the tackle, extends the football into the end zone. Beautiful work by the camera guys that time to show you the angle of that play getting into the end zone. 13-9 is the score. Once again with Roncalli leading it here over Zionsville. 11:31 left to go in the 4th quarter. So once again, Roncalli will try to put the extra point on here momentarily, or they may. Looks like they're going to go ahead and go for 2 points here. This opportunity trying to build themselves a 6-point lead. Figuring really, there's not much difference between a 4 and a 5-point lead, if you will, with 11.5 minutes left to go. Of course, next week it's going to be an exciting week of high school and college football here on WHMB TV 40. We've got Hamilton Heights and Northwestern coming up on Friday night, followed by University of Indianapolis football making their debut the following Saturday, taking on the Mercyhurst Lakers out of Erie, Pennsylvania. Our coverage starts at 1 o'clock. Join Joe Gentry, Steve Hurst, and former Indianapolis Colt Barry Krause for all the action from Key Stadium. Next Saturday at 1, the Lakers and the Greyhounds here on TV 40.
We want to welcome Barry Krause back to TV 40. Barry was our color man for 2 years on our broadcast, and former great Alabama linebacker. People might know number 99 as he made the great stop in the Sugar Bowl in 1979 on Mark Gooman that played for the Los Angeles Rams, and had a great career with the Colts and the Baltimore Colts and the Indianapolis Colts.
Under center will be Harrington. Looking left side. Here comes the pressure. Back of the end zone. Can he hang on to the football? Yes, it's a two-point conversion. The big fella, Chris Eckert, makes the two-point grab. It's Roncalli 15 and Zionsville 9. 11:31 left to play in the fourth quarter. We're back after this. The high school football game of the week on TV 40. Roncalli answers the Zionsville touchdown with one of their own. The Rebels keep the football for nearly 7 minutes. 6:59, 80 yards, 13 plays. And on 4th and goal, Nally punches it in. The two-point conversion good as well. And it's now 15-9. A short kick fielded by Smith to the 20, 25, finds the seam 30, gets out to the 40-yard line and is finally taken down at the 42-yard line. And at this pace, we've had one drive each team so far in the half. Maybe time for one more drive for each team here in this half as well.
Zionsville's done a good job. Smith's done a good job returning those kicks tonight and puts them in a very good field position to start out this drive.
So 1st and 10 coming up here from the 42-yard line for the Eagles. 11:23 left. They trail it 15-9 in this battle of traditional 3A football powers. 7 state championships between these two teams in the last 15 years. I formation now. Smith will go in motion. Handed off left side to Wagner. Wagner to the 45, tries to cut back. Maybe not the wise thing to do that time. The pursuit able to tackle him down. Jessup in to make the play for Roncalli. He had several red shirts behind him. It's a gain on the play for Wagner of 3. It'll be 2nd down, 7 or 8 coming up here for Zionsville.
Well, Roncalli did a good job gang tackling there on Wagner, and the way Wagner moves his legs, you need a gang to tackle him.
45-yard line is where they spot the football here. Roncalli, the traditional independent power, 3-2 coming in on the season. Zionsville, remember the new Hoosier Crossroads Conference at 2-3 on the year. Against a very tough schedule for the 3A team. Thrasco's in motion. Handoff Wagner. Gets a block from Smith. Tries to bounce off of it. Finds whatever room there is on that sideline. Looked like there wasn't much there. Wagner ends up getting forward to about the 48-yard line. Another gain of 3 and call it 3rd and 4 coming up here for the Eagles.
Greg, you mentioned that new conference, and when I put my football schedule together next year, Clayton Richards from McCutcheon has a chance. I think he's on pace to probably become the all-time leading passer in the history of Indiana if he keeps on his pace. A sensational sophomore for the Mavericks.
Well, that's really a step up, if you will, for Westfield and Zionsville coming out of the range line, which has been a great conference for 2A and 3A schools. They're now going in with Avon, a 4A power, and a lot of the old Olympic athletic conference schools in the Western Division that are 4A and 5A schools. 3rd and 4, Richmond, pump fake, looking to run, finds some room, somehow gets a first down, and dives inside the 45-yard line down to the 44. That time, credit the athleticism of Richmond getting the first down and keeping this drive going for Zionsville.
Well, Greg, coming in, looking at the stats, we did not really see that Richmond ran the ball very much. I think you said 11 times. And tonight, he's been very effective by, when he's flushed out of the pocket, he's been able to get out and make some runs. And we see example here as Richmond goes for the first down.
Richmond had not had many carries, but it averaged 6 yards a carry on the season. Doing it tonight as well. 4 carries for 24 yards. After that 9-yard gain, 1st and 10 from the Roncalli 44. 9:22 and counting left to play. Here comes the option. Pitch to Wagner. Cuts back again. Not much there. And let's credit the outside contain guy that time for Roncalli. Basically, it was 2-on-1 Zionsville on Roncalli. I believe that was Kraft over there that helped keep the play inside, and it's a loss of 1.
Well, I think Zionsville is just trying to get the ball outside and try a little option there, and it just collapsed. It just never got started.
Well, if Wagner kept going outside, I think he would have had it. He simply read the block, if you will, the wrong way, cut it back inside. That allowed the pursuit to get back to him. A loss of 1. 2nd and 11 coming up here. Clock rolls, 8:45 left to play. Roncalli a 15-9 lead. One wide to each side. Handoff. This time it's to their backup tailback in Schmidt. Not much room that time for the somewhat smaller junior at 5'8", 158. His first carry of the night's good for only a yard. 3rd and 10 coming up here for Zionsville.
Greg, at this point, I was just on a serious note. I want to just really send our prayers out to Steve Jans. Long story short, he is an announcer over in Anderson, lost his dad last night, and he used to be a member of the TV40 family. Steve did, and I just want to send my prayers out to him and his family. 3rd
down and 10, a handoff this time. Wagner finds some room, gets the first down, and hurdles his way to the 32-yard line. 3rd down and 10. You think it's a passing down? Not when you've got Wagner back there. A gain of 12, and it's going to be 1st and 10 coming up here. Great work by Wagner and Zionsville.
We see a replay of this. Zionsville has done a really nice job mixing it up, pass and run, and you see how effective Wagner is when he gets loose and he gets there for a 1st down, and the Eagles are marching there.
Under center is Richmond. 1st and 10 from the Roncalli 32-yard line. They fake the handoff. Rolling is Richmond. Avoids one man. Looking, throwing. Tipped and incomplete. That time, simply Zionsville had too many guys in the same place. Had Laffoon. Also there on a crossing route was Slama. They both go for the football. They can't make the completion. 2nd and 10 coming up here.
Well, Greg, I think that you might see a possible draw play or something. As we look at a replay of this, we see Richmond drops back, makes a good fake to Wagner, gets flushed out of the pocket, and sees his receiver, and great defensive play by the Roncalli player.
2nd down and 10 once again for Zionsville. The clock is stopped. 7:35 now left to go here in the ball game. The Ross goes in motion for Zionsville. They fake the pitch. Handoff. Fullback dive. Smith has it again, rumbling down the middle of the field. And Zionsville will have the football. Looks like down to the 10-yard line. A late flag is thrown. This is going to be
I think a face mask there.
Either a face mask, a late hit, or a late block. And let's see exactly how this one is going to be called. There were no flags on the play, so it will be a 1st down. Let's see if it's going to be half the distance to the goal line or 15 yards back the other way.
Greg, for the 2nd time tonight, we see Smith. First time on the touchdown run where he really was not touched, and that play is wide open when they use it. And you see Smith goes for a key 1st down. We'll see what this call is.
Looks like it's going to be dead ball foul against Roncalli. So I think it was a late hit on the play. So they'll move it from the 12 now to the 6. So half the distance to the goal line. A 20-yard rumble that time by Smith. Half the distance to the goal. It'll be 1st and goal now from the 6-yard line for Zionsville. Their last 4 drives have been over 5 minutes in length. This one they may get into the end zone before they hit that 5-minute mark. They've currently held the football for 4 minutes on this drive. Two wide to the left side, I formation.
Greg, if they get 6 here and they get the extra point, Zionsville will go ahead. It's kind of an odd score, 15-9.
A 2-point conversion for Roncalli and a missed extra point and a fake by Zionsville have made it 15-9. Richmond under center. Hands off Wagner, tries to get outside, does. Race to the end zone, not even touched, past the line of scrimmage. Zionsville answers again. We are tied at 15, and the all-important extra point to come. It'll be up to the right foot of freshman Mark Nicolette. He's connected on 8 of them so far this year.
Well, Greg, I think we have a old-fashioned 3A barn burner going here. And as I mentioned, these teams came in the season ranked number 1 and 2 in the 3A poll, and we see Wagner. Really, he just waltzes in untouched for the score.
And don't let these teams' records fool you. Zionsville at 2 and 3. Their losses, other traditional powers, Western, Boone, McCutcheon, and Avon. The kick is up. This one is good, but there were flags on the play.
I think we're going to see a motion here on Zionsville, so they'll back it up 5 yards and have to kick it again.
And for Roncalli coming into this one, they were 3 and 2. One blip on the schedule. Their opening week loss to Burbuff 7-0. Their other loss to Cincinnati Moeller, and once again Moeller, probably one of the top 15 football programs in the country year in, year out.
No, they're illegal participation by Roncalli.
Looks like Roncalli had 12 guys on the field that time, so the extra point is good. And we'll take a break. Zionsville 16, Roncalli 15, 7:18 left to go here on TV 40. Easy to see why these teams are traditionally 3A powers the way they are playing it this evening. Zionsville marches the football 4-13, 9 plays, 58 yards. And once again, the participation penalty on the extra point for the extra man on the field. So Zionsville will kick off from their 45-yard line of Roncalli. Jones has easily put the football in the end zone tonight. Let's see if maybe they'll change strategy here, try to go for the high kick and try to pin Roncalli deep and make Roncalli take it the length of the field, trailing by 1 with 7:18 left to go.
Well, Greg, it looks like we're going to come down to a great finish. We've been blessed the last few years with having some great finishes here in the city of Indianapolis, and looks like we have another one coming up here.
So Jones once again will tee this one off from the 45 of Roncalli. The 15-yard penalty was assessed from the extra point for 12 men on the field for Roncalli. Jones will simply kick this one towards I-65. This one is out of the end zone. It's a touchback. At the 20-yard line is where Roncalli will start this drive.
Service Pipe and Supply wants to give you the best service possible, and that is proven by our name. We are a Rich Tool, Porter Cable, Aquanatic, and Pipe, Valve, and Fitting Distributor. Service Pipe and Supply, 302 South New Jersey, downtown Indianapolis. For commercial and retail, call 639-9308. That's 639-9308.
Harrington now returning to the huddle to lead his troops. At least he hopes down the field. 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line. Just 7:18 left to go in what has been a tremendously well-played football game this evening. Greg Rakestraw and Dennis Casey with you here on WHMB TV 40. Thank you so very much for making us part of your Friday evening. Harrington will pitch right side to Nally. Nally makes one man miss. Carnicello, though, is at least going to hang on for the ride. It'll be a gain, looks like, of about 5 yards that time for Nally. 2nd down and 5 coming up here for the Rebels. He did not get out of bounds, and the clock will roll past the 7-minute mark.
Well, I don't think Roncalli has completed the pass tonight. What to ask our stats man, Mr. Borth. You would think that they're going to keep the ball on the ground and just march down the field and see what happens.
It's been all Richie Nally so far. 27 carries for 180 yards for the Roncalli tailback. Heiss goes in motion, sits down behind right guard. Delayed pitch to Nally, trying to get outside left side, and bowls into a Zionsville defender who takes him down to the open field, short of the 1st down. Nice work that time defensively by Zionsville. Making the tackle was Herb Braun. A gain of 4 for Nally. 3rd and 1 coming up here for the Rebels.
Well, Greg, as I mentioned in our open, we've seen some tremendous running backs this year on TV 40. The first week we saw Otis Shannon, and we're going to be seeing him in week 8 against Arlington. And also saw Rodney Burns for Ritter and Brandon Jones for Peru. And we're seeing 2 great running backs of Wagner and Nally tonight.
3rd down and a yard here. They pitch to Nally. Nally cuts back. It's going to be close. I think he's got it. Yes, he does. Just getting past the 30-yard line. Needed a yard, got about a yard and a foot. It's going to be 1st and 10 here for Roncalli as the Rebels keep this drive moving with 5:51 left to play. Zionsville a 1-point lead, 16-15. This game has been everything we thought it could be and more.
So if you're Roncalli, do you try to throw a pass?
Maybe in the razzle-dazzle style. You saw the end around. They tried and completed to Harrington, but it was called back because of an illegal shift. But I think as long as you keep moving the football, use that clock as your friend and keep Zionsville's offense off the field. Double tight end set here to wing back as well. Now Heiss will go in motion to the near side of the field. They fake the handoff to Nally. Inside handoff to Himes. He'll get to the 35-yard line. It's a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd and 6 coming up here for Roncalli as the clock approaches the 5-minute mark, and things are going to be dictating that Roncalli passes the football soon.
Greg, we want to tell you about Wink Jagger and his people out at Jagger's Buick Olds. They're located on Highway 39 North in Lebanon. Jaggers has an excellent selection of Buicks, Pontiacs, Oldsmobiles, and GMC trucks. There's also a large selection of pre-owned vehicles. That's Jaggers on Highway 39 North in Lebanon.
Quick defensive change there for Zionsville. 2nd and 6 coming up here for the Rebels. 4:42 and rolling now for Roncalli. Pitch to Nelly and will be met immediately. He'll get back to the line of scrimmage and no more. You can call out several of the silver helmets that time. In on the play for Zionsville. Clint Stevens was there. Damian Decker was also there on the play. No gain on the play. 3rd and 6. And a crucial conversion needed here for Roncalli.
Well, Greg, as the clock creeps to about the 4-minute mark, this might be the time for a gadget play or something.
3rd down and 6. The Roncalli players needing to get fired up here to get a conversion. The Zionsville players trying to fire up their fans, and the Eagles, their fans now on their feet. Here come the Rebel fans to their feet, and both of these teams deserve it the way they played this evening. I formation, 3rd and 6, rolling right side Harrington, looking, throwing, intercepted by Slama. Slama picks it off, stepping in front of the tight end, Chris Eckert, and Zionsville makes the big play. They'll have it inside the Roncalli 45-yard line, just shy of the 40. Is where Zionsville will start this drive, their first big turnover force of the game.
Well, the combination on offense, Richmond to Slama, we've seen them on defense. They've done an outstanding job, both of them. Richmond's come up with some great hits, and we see Slama come up with the biggest play of the game right now, this interception.
Two big
turns. Take a look at this. Here's the Harrington dropping back. He tries to find his receiver. He's getting pressure, and he throws the ball, and there's Slama, steps in and intercepts the ball.
Now Fritz is in at quarterback for Zionsville. Handoff Wagner, bounces off a couple of tacklers, keeps his legs driving, and is going to be close to the first down. He's going to be just shy of the 30-yard line. The officials will take a look. Wagner has been a workhorse this evening, as has Richie Nally for Roncalli. It's a gain of 10, and it's 1st and 10 for Zionsville. 3:38 left to play. Zionsville have been 0-3 on the road so far this season. This is actually their final regular season road game. Maybe on their way to 1-3 on the road with a win tonight.
11-yard run by Wagner, and I don't look for Zionsville to pass the ball.
Not with Wagner back there in the backfield. One wide to each side. I formation again. Roncalli showing a 5-man front. The long snap count by Richmond. Richmond will burn as much clock time as possible. Handoff Wagner, not much there. He'll get down to the 29-yard line. It's a gain of 2 on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 8 coming up here as we're ready to roll past the 3-minute mark. Left to play, 16-15. Zionsville leading the Roncalli Rebels. Roncalli in desperate need of a defensive stop here to give themselves a little time to work with. And, of course, if Roncalli can get the stop, they have the advantage of not having to go all the way down the field. They just need a field goal to retake the lead here. Question is, will they get the football back? I formation. Richmond under center. Once again, play clock is rolling. He'll wait till it gets to 3, and that time Zionsville makes a mistake of their own. The big right guard for Zionsville got a little bit of an early start, and that'll back up the Eagles 5 yards. 2nd and 13 coming up now.
Well, with the exception of the first half turnovers by Zionsville, this has been a very well-played game. Of course, we just saw the interception, the key interception by Slama. I think that might have been Roncalli's first turnover of the game. So this has been a really a well-played game tonight, Greg.
2 first-half turnovers for Zionsville that stopped drives, but the big turnover coming on the interception, picked off by Slama. Now it is Zionsville with the football. 2nd and 13. Handoff Wagner up the middle, breaks a tackle, dives forward, and will get down to around the 31-yard line. So a gain of 3. It will be 3rd down and 10. Clock will roll past the 2-minute mark here. Roncalli needing to get a stop. And we'll think about stopping that clock as well, because it is now under 2 minutes left to play in the football game, and the Eagles lead it by a single point. And once again, Zionsville will take as much time in the huddle and burn as much play clock time as they possibly can. Play clock is down to 10, and now Zionsville will break the huddle. 3rd and 11 coming up. Play clock is down to 2. Richmond takes the snap. Handoff Wagner. Got outside. May have realized it was better to take the loss and fall than go out of bounds. Simply cuts back in, gets a yard. Roncalli will take a timeout, and we will do the same. Minute 29 left to play. It's 4th and long for Zionsville, but they lead at 16-15 here on the high school game of the week on Channel 40. topic of football on Channel 40. Next fight tonight at 10:30, the Northwestern Tigers and the Hamilton Heights Huskies square off. And a great battle once again here at 3A. 10:30 is the start time for that broadcast. Then stay with us next Saturday as we'll have University of Indianapolis Greyhound football taking on the Mercyhurst Lakers. So again, 1 o'clock is the time for that one. September the 30th, Joe Gentry, Steve Hurst, and Barry Krause here on WHMB TV 40. Wagner on 4th and 10 at the Roncalli 31 is going to punt the football, trying to pooch this one. Is a wobbler. It will land. Will it get to the end zone? Zionsville, could they stop it before it gets to the goal line? They do. I think that's literally at the 1-yard line, and let's give credit where credit is due. The guy who fell on the football for Zionsville, Greg Bouchard, makes the play, and Roncalli finds themselves in the shadow of their own goalpost with 81 seconds left.
Greg, 5 state championships, 7 state championship appearances. As we see a replay of this pooch punt, and what a beautiful job getting the ball inside the 5 and making it very difficult for the Rebels to march 99 yards in a minute 21.
Great job by Bouchard to stop it. Roncalli on their own 1-yard line. Minute 21 left to go. It is 16-15. Zionsville with the lead. Harrington forced to throw, rolling away from the pressure, throws the football down the sideline. And that time he had a guy open. Now he had beaten the coverage, but Richie just turned the wrong shoulder. And so tough when a rushing dominant team is forced to pass the football.
My point is that, you're talking about one of the top 5 football programs in Indiana, Roncalli, but here's an example, a style of play that makes it tough for them to march 99 yards.
Minute 21 left to play here in the fourth quarter. Clock time seemed to stall that time on the play. 16-15, and let's see if the officials are going to talk about this one. They may fix a little clock time off of this one. While we have this opportunity, let's thank the folks at Vito's Italian Restaurant at Stop 11 and Meridian. And once again, as Dennis, myself, and the crew have attested with our food this evening, Vito's is a great place to go. Visit their location. Once again, Stop 11 and Meridian. Ask for the popular chicken at Marsala. Vito's also has gourmet pizza and great tasting traditional toppings for carryout. Call 888-1112, 888-1112 for Vito's. Minute 21 left to play, but once again, they may sneak a little clock time off of that here. It's going to be 2nd and 10 from the 1-yard line. It looks like they're going to reset the clock time at 1:14. They will sneak 7 seconds off the clock. 2nd and long coming up.
Greg, I just want to thank you for doing such a great job tonight. It's been a lot of fun working with you. Howard will be back next week with John Fox, and looking forward to the Hamilton Heights game against Northwestern and the rest of the football season, leading up to the 5 state championships. Of course, on TV 40.
Thanksgiving weekend, A and 2A on November the 24th and November the 25th, 3A, 4A, and 5A from the RCA Dome. Harrington to throw, finds a man left side. That's going to be the double pass. They throw it down the field. It's picked off by Richmond. Richmond intercepts, slides down at the 20-yard line. It was the double pass. That time making the second throw for Roncalli was Mark Wilsey. But the interception taken away by Richmond, and Zionsville has earned a great road victory.
Greg, this was a terrific athletic play by Corey Richmond. He seemed to use his vertical jump to leap over the top of the receiver and just did a tremendous job.
That time, once again, the double pass. You hardly see it, but Roncalli runs it regularly. They throw it by the line of scrimmage so Wilsey can step back and toss it. Got some good distance on it. Simply a jump ball, and Richmond takes it away. And then wisely, he drops down to make sure he doesn't fumble the football.
And we take another look at this play and see the athletic play by Corey Richmond really to seal the victory for Zionsville.
And Richmond will take a knee, so he'll hurt his rushing stats, but he'll gladly trade that to see the clock time roll off. In fact, Zionsville will probably have to run about one more play, and this one will go into the record books as both of these teams will go to 3-3 on the season. But as you can obviously see from tonight's action, you don't want to see either of these two teams you get to postseason play.
I can honestly say the best 3-3 teams in the state of Indiana, and we could see these teams coming back and playing for the state championship in 3A.
These two teams go in different sides of the bracket. Sectional 18 is where Zionsville finds itself, while Roncalli a member of sectional 22. Zionsville, a lot of jubilation on that far sideline, and it's well-deserved. The Eagles come into Roncalli and beat the Rebels by a score of 16-15. We're back with a post-game show after this. You're listening or watching the Game of the Week on TV 40.
Crossroads, the sign of the cat, is now the
half of the state is where Zionsville goes. Roncalli kind of drops to the central and southern half of the state, so it is a possibility we can see these two powers in the dome once again.
Two outstanding running backs tonight, and Nally and Wagner for the respective teams, and just really a fun night of high school football. Beautiful night, and I think this Formula One weekend's off to a good start, a fast start.
16-15 once again is our final score tonight. Zionsville over Roncalli. Take another break, come back.